Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, it girls. I hope you all are doing amazing. Welcome to Faithfully Feminine Podcast, where I, your host Imani Bailey, shares all things faith, all things feminine, and practical ways to transform yourself through navigating womanhood, while sharing lessons God has taught me along the way. Sit back, relax, and let's get into some things. Sister is going through it this morning. I hope y'all are having a good day or evening whenever you are listening to this. Couple updates before we get into the goal setting episode is this is our season 2 finale. Yay! I'm actually not going to be having a huge break in between the seasons. Give or to like maybe 2 weeks, more than likely 2 weeks. So it is December 27th now. I believe I probably will be back January 10th, if not January 11th. Well, no, that's not a Wednesday. But anyways, I should be back January 10th. I am trying to give myself some space to get the blog fixed. It is kind of up and kind of running. The blog right now is like jogging. I don't know if y'all been to the new website, and I'm going to put the link below because please visit my new website. I have put blood, sweat, and literal tears into the design of this new website and the redoing of this entire website. And I want to make sure that every podcast episode has an accompanying blog post, but then there is going to be an extra blog post, so bonus points if you all subscribe, which you should be, to the blog. There's going to be 2 blog posts a week on Monday and on Wednesdays, and then the podcast episodes, of course, comes out Wednesday mornings. Today, the podcast episode was a little late because I was trying to get the blog situated, but clearly it's not situated. Anyway, yeah. So my update is really about the website and the blog. I have had so please y'all pray over my blog because I don't know what was going on. I had to do a domain transfer from Google to my hosting platform website because now I'm doing like a real website and not like a Squarespace website. And not saying that Squarespace websites are fake websites, but I need a website where I can host everything and own everything because now we're building a community. We're building a way bigger community than what my Squarespace blog can probably withstand. And I didn't want it to run into issues later on down the road and then everything is at a halt because of it. So I went ahead and had to change my domain. I had to switch that over. Some reason the DNS is not firing to the internet service IP, and www. is not popping up. If you search my website and put www.faithfullyfeminine for right now, it's not popping up. I have another 24 hours to wait and then it should be fixed. But the website is still accessible through the link, and if you don't put www, you'll be able to access it. Just put Faithfully Feminine, it will pop up. But I want to say probably like tomorrow, it will be up and running completely. I've posted the 10 things to do before New Year's blog, and I wanted to wait until everything was working to post the blog post because I just felt like if everyone cannot access the website, if they don't have a link or they don't remember to just put Faithfully Feminine, how the heck are they going to read the blog post? So I'm in between a rock and a hard place right now, which is why this episode is coming late, but it's okay. It's okay. And I do think that this is a perfect way to end up the season. So we're going to get right into it. This is how you set obtainable goals. You can do this whenever. It doesn't have to be the start of the year. It could be mid-year. It could be post-year. It could be March. It could be in Q2. Who cares? But this is how I have implemented strategies to make sure that I'm on the same path for my obtainable goals that I have set. Before you even get a pen or paper or stylus, iPad stylus or whatever, we are going to like chant to ourselves. I don't want to say chant. Well, yeah, we're going to chant to ourselves a couple times and remind ourselves that we make plans and God laughs. Life will always throw curveballs. That is the number one thing to planning and implementing obtainable goals is to understand the concept of you cannot plan everything. You are not the author of this world. You are not God. And although God can plan everything, God does not have to allow you to know what is going on when it's supposed to go on. If you know, you know. If you are new to Christ, if you're new to becoming a Christian, or even if you aren't a Christian, you have to understand this concept. This is the most important thing I'm going to tell you this entire podcast episode, because what happens is when people at the end of the year or at the start of the year make these goals, these New Year's resolutions of what they want to accomplish. And then boom, we hit June or July or even March, and then you fall off, or you might forget, or you go back at the end of the year and you look and you feel horrible. You feel like a failure. You feel like I did not accomplish half of these things. Yeah, I accomplished some of them, but I did not even accomplish half of these things. And it's because you cannot plan everything. You cannot plan the season that you are supposed to be in when you are supposed to be in it. And God is not always going to give you the answer when you want the answer. So although we're getting into this habit of writing down goals, we have to understand we are not the makers of the universe. Number 2, find something to house your goals in. So, you know the saying, when you look good, you feel good. Go out and buy a beautiful notebook or a beautiful planner. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. Honestly, if you skip eating Chipotle or skip eating out for one meal, you can go and buy a cute planner. So buy a cute planner or download a cute digital planner from Etsy or from Creative Market and house it in your iPad. You want to be proud of whatever you're going to put your goals in, because you want to stay on track. This is going to be a place that you frequently visit. So you want to feel good about this place. Number 3 is, after you do those 2 things of pre-work, now is when we're starting to get into actually writing down the goals. So you're going to go to a place that you are the most comfortable in. Whatever room that is in your house, in your apartment, in your condo, in your mom's house, I don't care where it is, but go to your closet, go to your bathroom, go to your living room, go to your room, sit in your bed. My bed is like my place. It's my safe haven. And light a candle. Make the ambiance feel really good and really relaxing. Put on some music that doesn't have lyrics. And create a safe space for you to decompress, because writing down goals is serious business. And it can also be nasty business. Nasty as in not you know what I mean, like nasty business, child. Like, we get into the nitty gritty. Growth happens in like some rugged areas, some rugged places. And so once you get into that relaxed place and that relaxed mindset, I want you to, number 4, write this down, meditate on the word of God. The problem is when you are creating goals without God who created you, you're opening yourself up to the enemy coming in to steal, kill, and destroy and move you and knock you off of your purpose. And I'm not saying that when you don't invite God, these goals are not going to be obtained. God still blesses people who does not believe in him and sometimes does not invite him. He still protects them. He still blesses them. But it might not even come from God as well. So you want to make sure that you are protected, that you are covered, and then that you are inviting the maker over. You want to create your grandmother's recipe without looking at her recipe card or calling her up. You wouldn't just slap her name and be like, oh, thanks, grandmama. My grandma gave me this recipe. I made this. Showing up to potlucks, putting her name on something that she did not co-sign. That's not fair. Don't do God that way. I wouldn't do my grandmother like that. I wouldn't do my mom like that. And I sure as heck would not do God like that. So these are the categories that I mentioned last time to just plant that seed in you all's head. I'm going to repeat them. It does not have to be in this order. You can write down the goals in whatever order you want, but just make sure you are hitting these categories. The first one's going to be financial. Then we have physical, emotional, career, relationship, and spiritual, which is also our faith. Within the category of relationship, there are subcategories in there. So you have romantic partnerships, friendships, and business partnerships / networking. Those are the three subcategories that go into the relationship pillar. Again, you have romantic relationships or romantic partnerships. You have friendships, and then you have business networking. All right. So I have my first one here. It's going to be financial. I typically do the relationship pillar last just because that is the longest one, and relationships really filter and feed our entire lives. Everything about our life is about relationships. Oh, and relationships itself. So there's really 4 pillars. Everything in our life is about relationships, and that's why I do that one last, because that one is probably going to take the longest. So I have, starting off, financial goals. Better yet, I've actually never done an audio version of this. The blog is going to be a lot easier because it is visual. So I highly encourage you to hop on over and click the link to go visit the blog. But after you write all those down, you're going to jot those down, and I want you to make columns, or you can do this however way you want to, but each little section is going to have each one of these. So the columns are going to say, where am I now? Where do I want to be? And then how can I get there? Those are the 3 columns for each category I have mentioned and subcategory I have mentioned on here. So where am I now? Where do I want to be? And how can I get there? You can also add a bonus one that is totally optional. And this bonus one probably will not have each category filled in, and that's okay. This bonus column can be who can help me get there. And of course, God, you can fill that in for all of them. But different people in your life can be strategically placed by God to help you get certain places. For an example, I had met a woman here who knew an attorney that I needed. And I didn't even know. I literally met her at happy hour. Who knew she was going through the same thing that I'm going through 3 years prior to even meeting me? And she had exactly what I needed. And that started a blossom of a beautiful friendship. So you never know who might be able to push you towards being a better financial steward. And you don't have to necessarily know this person personally. You can put different people who own different podcasts, like a financial podcast. You can put like Earn Your Leisure. I'm going to listen to an episode of Earn Your Leisure every week for the next year. And they're going to help me be a better steward of my finances. It could be a book. It can be a YouTuber. It can be someone who is a blogger who writes articles for, Forbes. It doesn't have to be someone that you know, right? But you can use their knowledge and their information in that area to help you grow within your goals and whatever you're wanting to do in life. So I highly encourage you to add that bonus column is who is going to help me get there. But the 3 ones are essential. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? And how am I going to get there? And I want you to slow down and assess. For an example, right now in my career, say if you just graduated college, right now, where am I now? I just graduated Georgia State University. Where do I want to be? I want to have a full-time marketing job by the new year or by March. And then how am I going to get there? I'm going to sign up for LinkedIn Premium, and I'm going to reach out to 3 recruiters every other day. And I'm going to apply to 2 marketing jobs a day. That is a great goal. Honestly, that was one of my goals when I first graduated, and I was able to get a full-time marketing job for a Fortune 500 company. So that is an example, and I want you to do that. Take that outline and do that for each category that I told you. Now, when we get down to relationships, you have your relationship with yourself, you have your family, you have your romantic partnerships, you have your friendships, and you have your business partnerships. So you actually have 5. I totally forgot. I had to open up my journal to look. And so your relationship to self, once you get on the category of relationships, I want you to start off with that one because your relationship with self is so important. If you do not love yourself, you cannot correctly love other people. And so implementing any type of personal development goal, it can be, hey, I just want to start therapy, or this year I'm going to read a total of 3 self-help books. And one's going to be about attachment styles because I want to learn my attachment style. The second one is going to be about, codependency because maybe I struggle or you struggle with codependency. So you want to take your time and just in your quiet, relaxing space after you have invited God in. And how this looks, it can be praying before you start your goals. It can be praise and worship before you start your goals, or it can be all 3. Why not? And just allow God to help guide and push your pen. And even if you put down something that you're unsure about, you can put a question mark by it or circle it or underline it and go to God about it later. You don't have to know all the answers now. That is the beauty and the annoyance in my opinion of life. Sometimes I want to know everything because I am a control freak. I want to control everything. And I have to realize I cannot do that. I said a lot. We have learned a lot of categories. I think altogether it's probably like 12 or more than 12. So I want you all to really write that down. And this should not take you one day. I really want to push you all to do this over the span of a couple of days. You can do like 2 or 3 days or even more, and that's fine. Maybe you want to spread it out to where you do financial one day, physical the next, emotional the next, career the next. And that's okay. You can do that. So just take your time before the new year and you can have them all finished by the new year. Or even if you do not, that is perfectly okay. But you want to have this in a place that you feel good to go to because every quarter you are going to revisit this and that's going to cause some revise and some edits. And that is perfectly okay. Life is not made in pen. You can mess things up in life and God can turn it around to his benefit. Or maybe you thought you messed it up, but that was God's plan all along. So don't think that these goals, although you might write them in pen, cannot be erased, cannot be edited, cannot be changed. Maybe you don't want to be in marketing anymore. And maybe you want to be an entrepreneur now. And the season that you were in before, being a marketer or going to nursing school, that was what God had planned for you. But through that, you learned something else, and now it's time for you to shift. So it is perfectly okay for things to change. And it is also okay for when you revisit this at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, maybe you did not make everything. Maybe you didn't cross everything out. And you're going to add that on to the next year. Maybe you feel inclined, you prayed about it, and you're going to add it on to the next year. God was like, it wasn't your year to buy a house. I appreciate the sentiment, but it wasn't your year to buy a house. So add that to next year. Save up next year. I want you to, and the reason why I'm stressing this so much, because I know how it feels to want to control everything and get upset when you don't make your goal. It's almost like a sense of failure. Don't let Satan come in and destroy the moment and destroy the beautiful things that God has given you and like the people that you have met and the small little things along the way and the preparation for what is to come. Your life is so long. Well, God willing, our lives are so long. It is a privilege to get older. And I have to remind myself that it is a privilege to get older. Although the world is ghetto and earth is ghetto and we have a different eternity after this, it is a privilege to be able to love on others, to be a resource to others, to be a friend to others, to be a wife, a girlfriend, or whatever, a mom, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle. It is a privilege to be able to touch people. So with that, Go with grace. I will see you in the new year. Happy birthday to me. My birthday's on the 9th. I'm going to have to pre-record the episode for the 10th because I'm like, let's not wait for the last minute now. But go over to the blog. The blog post for this episode will actually be up this evening. It won't be up when the audio is up, just because of the difficulties I was telling you about. But go on, head over to the blog and sign up to be a part of the community. And then that way, later on, when there is something posted, you will get push notifications. And I love you all so much, and Happy New Year.